All right, so we did the mathematical model, or we're working on a mathematical model maybe, of our population. And remember that the experiment one, if we start with a population of n, then each member has a 50% chance of surviving to the next iteration. And we can try changing that around a little bit, but for now let's just keep it at 50%. Okay, and so we want to then run one iteration and find out how many get the new population. And then repeat. And so this is putting together a little computer algorithm that we're going to use. Okay, so now the big question is how do I implement this piece right here? How do I choose, or how do I get a random number generator so that 50% of the time I get one thing and then 50% of the time I get another? Well, there is a way of doing that, and the way I like to do this is I like to imagine having the interval from 0 to 1, okay, and then suppose that we cut the interval into two pieces. Now if I choose a uniformly random number, a random number with a uniform distribution across this interval, then half the time that number will be less than 0.5, and half the time the number would be greater than 1.5. Therefore, I can use just a regular random number generator that uses a uniform distribution over the interval from 0 to 1 to get my number. In fact, the way you could do that is you could round off the random number, right? And so if it's between 0 and 0.49, you get 0, and then if it's 0.5 or higher, you would get a 1. Okay, and so this is the algorithm that we're going to use. This is per member of the population, right? And so how am I going to do that if I have a population of n individuals? Well, that's pretty easy in a program like MATLAB, for example. And so the way I'll start with that is I'll begin with a vector of n elements, or I guess, well, we can think of it as beginning with a vector of n elements, and then in each element, right, select a random number between 0 and 1, and again, that's a uniform distribution, and then round it off. Okay, and so what you have at this point is, we have a vector of zeros and ones. Okay, and now if we assume that 0 means death and 1 means life, or whatever, I don't want to sound so serious, then what you can do is, let's go with that, and we'll just say, what's the next population? The new population, you can get just by summing the number of ones together. In fact, because the other elements are 0, you can just sum all the elements, you can just sum all the vector elements together, right? And that'll tell you what the population is for the next round. And so this number is the length of the next vector. But of course, the thing that you have to watch out for is to stop when 0. Okay, and so I'm going to stop here because I'm going to switch over to another computer program. We're going to try to implement this algorithm using some software called Octave Online. And so remember what we're doing here now. Our steps are, we're going to begin with a vector of n elements, and then we're going to make each of those elements a random number between 0 and 1. We'll round those off, and then we'll find the value, the length of our new vector, and then we'll just repeat this process until we get to 0. Okay, so go ahead and watch the next video for the computer implementation of this algorithm. See you then.